What's going on, everybody? So, been a hot minute since I've yapped at you. Got something cool that came in today. Clawhammer Supply sent me some goodies here, and we'll go right into what that is here in a minute. But they demoed this on their channel, and I thought this would be a great item to demo for you guys as far as whether you want to get into brewing beer or not on the cheap, and just something to try out. And if it's not for you, then you just move on and you call it your losses or whatever. But this is a 1 gallon brew kit that they sent me, and I'm pretty sure this is either bottles or the fermenter. I'm not sure yet, but they sent me 2 boxes, and there's a beer kit in here as well. So let's tear into this thing and see what we got. They did send me some optional accessories, which I'll talk to you about in a minute. Bust out my wee little knife. That's not a knife. So let's open up this box first and see what's in here. Like I said, I think it's a fermenter. I'm not sure. It's just a little 1 gallon fermenter. This may be for the experienced brewer too, if you just want to have a little 1 gallon fermenter to play around with, test batches of beer, and you don't want to dedicate a keg to it. We'll see. Ta-da! They got a new logo too, man. This is their old one, but if you go to their website, they got a new logo, and that logo is probably going to end up on all their newer equipment, I presume. Okay, cool. Yes, it is the fermenter. Nice little 1 gallon fermenter. Let's tear it open and take a look-see. I don't ever use that word, but I'm using it for this video. Look at, she's so tiny and cute. Clawhammer Supply, brew, ferment, distill. Nice little pet fermenter. It's got a bung hole. Keep your mind out of the gutter. Bung hole on top. It simply unscrews. And then they have a 3-piece airlock in there, and the bottle looks like the bottling racking valve there, whatever you want to call it. So we'll put this together in a minute. Let's see what's in the other boxes. All right, this one's kind of heavy. Perfectly, I'm gonna stab my face. Perfectly square box all the way around, equally cubic. Let's see. Just open her up. All right. We have in here few things. Some foam. Oh, nice. I'm setting the box down. This is getting to be too cumbersome. A brand new bottle capper. I do have a couple of those around, but nice bottle capper. This is an optional accessory. These are optional accessories, by the way. These did not come in the $99 kit. The $99 kit comes with the fermenter and a beer kit, Citra beer kit. And I'm assuming they'll probably have other beer kits come out down the line as these things roll out. But for right now, it comes with the Citra beer kit. But bottle capper, absolutely essential. And some tubing. Nice. It's a pretty hardcore tubing. Look at that. That's a thick diameter. But yeah, pretty cool. Pretty decent length too. I'd say that's about 3 feet of tubing. This is the bottling wand, if you will, goes up inside the valve for when you're bottling. And a little pack of bottle caps. Also very necessary. And a bottling, I forgot what you call this guy. It's the end of your bottling wand. This is the actual pressure. You put this on the end of the tube and then you can fill your bottles by pressing down and then letting off when you're done filling so you don't have any spillage. But yeah. So yeah, beer bottles. Gotta have beer bottles if you're going to make a small batch of beer and, you know, bottle the beer. So yeah, little set of glass beer bottles, 12 ounces, a 12 pack. A beer kit, 1 gallon of beer is like 128 ounces. You don't get 128 ounces, you get more closer to like maybe 115 ounces probably after trube loss and or debris at the bottom of the fermenter that you don't want to rack over. So you get closer to like maybe 9 or 10 beers, 9, 10 beers out of 128 ounces. So I have a couple of bonus bottles in here. And I actually have quite a few bottles here as well, just that I collect from, I tend to reuse bottles around here. So, oh, and a little stick-on temperature gauge thermometer, so you can see what your fermenter's sitting at temp-wise. And some plumbing tape. Plumber's tape, I should say. So you can wrap around the threads of your little racking valve. Also came with some cleaner and sanitizer. And I thought this was just water. But it's not just water. It's if I shake this a little bit, it's sudsy. So it's cleaner. It's cleaner for the fermenter. And then you have a little thing of, so it looks like might be some star sand here. It's very viscous like star sand, so it comes with the kit. Last but not least, this box. This has to be the beer kit. So one thing left, and I haven't seen beer ingredients yet. So this has to have the hops, the grain, the yeast, and a little bit of extract, I would presume. And based on its size, it's got to be some dry malt extract. So I'm going to cautiously cut this box open because I don't want to cut open a bag here. Oh, nice. Okay, so it comes with a few things in here. So if you ever get the kit, that's what she looks like on the inside. Yep. So we got, looks like we have some Citra hops here. 1 ounce of Citra hops. These are going to give the beer a very citrusy, pineapple-y, kind of orange, like it's very citrusy flavored. These are very strong in the citrus flavor-ish department. Very refreshing in the summertime. We're going into the winter or fall, but it's hot as hell in Texas right now. So it'll be just fine here. So, Citra hops. All right, looks like they've already put the grain for the flavor and color. We already have our specialty grains in the muslin bag ready to go. For those that don't know what a muslin bag is, it's just basically a very thin sock-ish, it's made of muslin material, and brewers use it all the time to steep, like a tea bag, but steep your grains. So that's what this is for. We have some carbonation tablets. Put 1 per beer, I think, or 2 per beer. I'll have to read the instructions for this particular ones. Some you only have to put 1 in a bottle. Some, depending on their size, you put 2 in a bottle. But here we are. These are what are going to carbonate the beer as it sits for a couple of weeks in the bottles. Oh yeah, some Muntons yeast. Now Muntons yeast, it's a typical yeast that is included with small beer kits. This particular yeast, it doesn't really impart too much in the flavor department as much as it just plays a key role in a good, nice, clean fermentation in the beer. So for this particular beer, since it's a pale ale, we don't really want to impart any weird flavors in it anyways. And, oh yeah, okay. So, Briess Light DME. This is the stuff that will go into the kettle on the stove. That's going to make up most of the sugars that are consumed by the yeast to make alcohol. But this is kind of like a base. This substitutes as a base grain basically. Like they've already kind of done the work for you. They've extracted all the base grain sugars out and flavor and imparted it as such. Extracted it. It's an extract basically, a dry extract. And this stuff is super sticky stuff if it gets wet. Really sticky stuff. Cool. All right. Oh yeah. Camden tablet. Depends on your water. Maybe necessary, maybe not. For this volume of water, man, you probably only need a quarter of this guy, to be honest with you. I won't be using this because my water goes through a carbon scrubber already and then it's softened, and I actually do have to put a little gypsum back into the water, like a little hardness into the water for brewing. In this case, since this is a extract brew kit, I'm not really worried about efficiencies and stuff on extracting sugars and stuff because that's already been done for me. I'm just basically cooking this bad boy on the stove. But the Camden tablets will take the chlorine flavor out of your water and smells and stuff. Those are real good to have if you ever need one to get chloramines out of the water. And this is really cool, man. So I told you they're working on a new logo, and I think it's pretty banging. There you go. That's Clawhammer's, looks like their potential new logo. I was joking with Kyle on Instagram, told him that I need him to restamp my kettles with their new logo. I was kidding, of course, but hey, I'm not gonna argue. Send me some stickers, man. It's not like my kettles ever get submerged in water or anything. Anyhow, they get subjected to high heat, but that's it. This, Kyle, this is going on my kegerator, my Keyser. Gonna represent. Been loving my brew system. I didn't get the brew system free or nothing. Now they did send me the 10-gallon starter kit to demo, which I'm actually loving that thing. But I did fully purchase my 20-gallon system, and it's been fantastic. And like I've said in other videos, I love that it's modular. I love that I can replace any part of it. That it's most of it's just like off-the-shelf parts that you can find almost anywhere. It's just been a great system. So I've been sticking with it, and I designed my whole brewery around it. So yeah, it takes up very little space, and you can make some fantastic beer. So anyways, that's the kit. We will get to brewing with it here in a moment. What's up, guys? Cheers. Here in my kitchen now. We did an unboxing inside the brewery, but we're gonna brew in the kitchen because that's the whole convenient part of this whole deal. Is this 1-gallon kit. One, it's for beginners or not so beginners. Just a convenient way to make a small 1-gallon batch to give it a shot, see if it's something you want to get into, or maybe you want to experiment a little bit and you just don't want to make a whole lot of beer, so you just do it in this kind of like small experimental mode and use the little 1-gallon fermenter that Clawhammer supplied. Check it out. Doggy style pale ale clone. Go ahead and get a little bit of this real quick. It's really, really good. Let's get in on this kit, see what's all in it again, and follow the directions according to Clawhammer's supplies recommendations that they've provided for this Citra Pale Ale kit. You'll see we have our dry malt extract. This is basically the equivalent of a base malt, base grain, but already done for me. That'll be our base sugars and flavor. This is our specialty grains for the pale malt. This is actually caramel 40. As per the instructions here, it says caramel 40 right there. So that's what the specialty grains are. It's 3 ounces of those. We have some Camden tablets. I'm not going to use these Camden tablet or this Camden tablet because my water is already scrubbed and everything, so we're good there. This whole beer will use Citra hops for the different doses, and I believe there are 3 additions in here that are measured out. Yep, 3 hop additions here. 4 grams of Citra at the boil, 15 minutes left, do 8 grams, and then when the 60 minute is up, we're going to add the 18 grams at the end there. So anyways, that's everything in its total here. And we have our Muntons yeast. This comes with a lot of your beer kits typically. It's just kind of a base yeast there. It doesn't add any flavors to the beer necessarily. It just ensures that fermentation occurs and it stays fairly neutral on the flavor profile. So there we have it. So let's get on this. A couple things that they did send me is a nifty little scale, which I don't have one of these. I've been using some random kitchen scale this whole time, but what I do like about this one is that it's way more accurate, as in like sub ounces wise, right? So like when I've ever needed to add like 1.3 ounces of something, I've always kind of had to gauge like how quickly adding a hop pellet or 2 changes the the number from 2 ounces to 3 or whatever. This actually tells me exactly like the decimal points on the ounces. So I really appreciate them sending me this. This does not come with the kit, but they do have it available on their website, and I'll provide the link below where you can get that. And they also sent me a nice little pin thermometer. This is great for monitoring the steeping temp for when we're doing our specialty grain steep. So very cool. But this is also not included, but they do have it as an extra accessory that you can purchase on the website. But this thermometer, 100% absolutely necessary, even for these small stovetop brews. You want to know what your water temp is when you're steeping your grains, so you get the best out of the steep. Let's get in on this. I'm going to put 1.5 gallons of water in my wonderful Polarware kettle here that I've had forever. You can use any kettle as long as it's at least about 3 gallons. That way, if you get any boil over anything, you don't have to sweat it. It won't boil over onto your stove, and that's something we'll talk about when we're doing this. All right, we're gonna use our little pin thermometer here to see where we're at on temp in this water. I'm just gonna move it around a little bit here. We're sitting, I've had it warming on the stove a little bit here. We want to be around 160, and we're almost there. We're sitting at about 150, 154. You just kind of stir it up a little bit here. Actually, I think we're very much, almost, like pretty much there. Yeah, we're at 150. We're going to call it, it's going to continue to increase a little bit. But yeah, we're going to go ahead. It says 159, 160. Yeah, see, it just hit 160 as soon as I was pulling it out. But we're going to go ahead and steep our grains. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the little baggie here that they've provided to us. Yeah, it's just a little, this is like a little tea bag, man, basically. We're just going to steep it in the grain here. What you want to do for this part is I want to kind of make sure it gets nice and wet in there. Make sure all those grains in that baggie get soaked. And you see, look at that water color. Already starting to see the color come through. Now these specialty grains don't do anything but add color and a little flavor to the beer. There's not really anything in regards to a starch to sugar conversion that happens to this part. So this is just like steeping the tea bag basically. So I'm gonna leave it like that. Now, it's always a good idea to, like, if you can, tie this off, but I'm just gonna scoop it out with my spoon when it's done, so I'm just gonna let it sit in there. Put the lid on the kettle, and we'll let this go for half an hour, and then we will get back, bring this thing to a boil, and we will add our DME once the boil is there. All right guys, it's been 30 minutes. We're gonna go ahead and take the little tea baggie out of there. The little muslin bag, if you will. I'm just gonna kind of scoop it out like so. Let it drip for a second. See that nice color? That's what we're looking for from the specialty grains. Just gonna set the baggie in a bowl on the side, and I'll just let that continue to do its thing. All right, I'm gonna kick the burner on. Okay. Now the next thing we want to do, we want to dissolve our light DME here in the water, or somewhat of a wort now, but we're gonna go ahead and dissolve this in, and once the temperature gets really up close to boiling, we're gonna see a lot of foaming going on, which is quite normal for this stuff. Now this stuff, once the steam hits it, it gets really, really sticky, so I'm gonna try and avoid getting steam inside this bag as much as possible. A little bit at a time. You don't want it to splash in there and burn yourself. Just a regular old kitchen spoon will work for this. See, like that's what I mean. See how it's like hanging on the bag? It just turns into liquid. It just turns into like candy. It's just straight up sugar, pretty much. That came from the grains. We're gonna stir this up real good. Let this DME dissolve real nice in here. All right, that's pretty good. Pretty well mixed in. You can see it already foaming up real nice in there. Well, while we're waiting for that to come to a boil, we'll go ahead and open up our hops here. Oh man, these smell incredibly good. Smell really good. All right, as you can see, we are at a boil now, so we need to go ahead and get this hop addition added. So per the instructions here, it says 4 grams as soon as it starts to boil. So let's do our 4 grams. Turn on our scale here. All right. Hold it. Oh yeah. I've already got it taired, so it accounts for my container. Let's do 4 grams. Oh, too many. Let's backpedal a little bit here. Oh, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's why it's good to have a big kettle. See that? That's that hot break coming through. If I had a shorter kettle, the thing would have boiled over. Now, there are ways you can manage that, is by stirring it, reducing the heat for a moment, and stir, stir, stir. But yeah. Okay, we're gonna go with 3.97. So let's go ahead and throw them in the pot, just like that. And in our next hop addition will be 15 minutes. So we're gonna go ahead and tell Alexa to start a 45-minute timer. Alexa, start a 45-minute timer.
45 minutes, starting now.
All right, so that's it for now. But there you go, look at that boil. That's a nice boil. I'm actually gonna dial the heat down a little bit. But yeah, all right, y'all. See you in 45 minutes. During the unboxing, I was talking about the fermenter. Simple 1-gallon fermenter. It's got a little spigot on it, so you can bottle the beer later out of it. or transfer or whatever you want to do. If you had 2 of these, I guess you could do a secondary transfer to another 1 gallon if you wanted. Typically for something like this, you don't transfer. It usually goes from fermenter to bottle pretty quick. So anyways, they did send a bottle of cleaner. Now I don't know how much the cleaner to use. It's got 5 ounces of cleaner in here, and they also sent with the kit some sanitizer. These do come with the kit, your cleaner and your sanitizer. Now I know just from the viscosity of this and everything, this is Star San or something similar to Star San. I'm pretty sure it's Star San. So it won't take a whole lot of this for this fermenter. You'll have a little bit left over, I promise you. This is plenty of Star San for your fermenter. The cleaner, if you shake it up, it looks like it's already been diluted. So what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna put the whole thing in. And Kyle, sorry man, I'm just gonna go ahead and put it all in there. And one thing I need to check too, I was just checking in my sink. Straight is closed, left is open, or right is open, but straight is closed. You want to make sure you know that it's closed before you put stuff in here and risk draining out into wherever you're at. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour the cleaner completely in here, just like so. Now if you ran out of this stuff, you can use something like OxyClean, PBW, anything like that will work just as well to clean your fermenters. Something with an oxygen type cleaning capability to it works really well for brewery equipment. So I'm just going to kind of shake this around real good and get all the walls and just agitate it a little while. All right. That's pretty clean. So I'm gonna go ahead and dump this. Rinse it out. It smells like PBW kinda. Definitely smells like an oxygen-based cleaner. And it's very slippery like PBW OxyClean. It's got that extra soapy texture to it that regular soap doesn't have. Now while you're at it, run your cleaner through your nozzle. You want to run some cleaner straight through that nozzle and just run a good bit of soap through there. Matter of fact, I'll just drain it all through the nozzle, or as much of it as possible. And then we'll give it a rinse, and then we'll put some sanitizer in there, and we'll sanitize this thing real good. And we did get an airlock with this 3-piece airlock from earlier, so what we'll do is we'll put some sanitizer in it we'll just put the sanitizer in from the nozzle into this. So let's go ahead and rinse it out. It's always good to go ahead and do this kind of stuff while your beer is brewing, boiling. That way it's just ready to go. It shaves time off your day. Now this particular brew session only takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours to do, whereas a full-on electric brew session takes about double that, about 4 hours. That feels pretty clean, rinsed out. I'm just going to run a little bit through my nozzle here. So I'm just going to turn it, run that rinse water through the nozzle real good. Okay. Next step, we're going to put some sanitizer in this, and we're just going to let the sanitizer sit in there for a while until we're ready to put beer in this. And then we'll drain the sanitizer out and put the beer in. So I'm going to take a little bit of this sanitizer. Yeah, it's got numbers on it, 1 through 5. That's definitely not ounces. So I'm just going to put, I think that's enough. I think that's more than enough. Just 1. We'll see. We'll check, based on how much it foams will tell me. Okay, fill it with water. It's pretty foamy, but probably go a little more in there. Okay, that's pretty foamy. I'm gonna put a little more in there. So I put about 2 in there. So I'll put the lid on top of the fermenter. Let's see. Put the lid back on here and just give it a shake. Oh yeah, see that? That's plenty of sanitizer. So you have a little left over for your next brew session. So I'm going to run just a little through the nozzle. All right, that's it. We're just going to let this guy sit on the side full of sanitizer. All right, it's time to add our 45-minute timer addition here. So 15 minutes left in the boil. We need 8 grams of citrus. So we're going to go ahead and measure out 8 grams. Lost one over here. Almost there. Take some out. So I mean about this scale being so precise, which is nice. And we're guessing that's close enough, 7.96. Let's go ahead and drop it in the boil here. Alexa, set a timer for 15 minutes.
15 minutes, starting now.
All right. And I'm going to go ahead and measure out, so we already have it ready to go. Our last bit here, which is, says 18 grams. All right, let's see if we have 18 grams in here. We're shy of 18 grams. We have 16, but we're just going to roll with it. Got a little hop debris there. So anyways, we will add this when the flame out is done. So when the 60-minute timer's off, add the 18 grams and we will turn the flame off. That's what flame out means, is like when you actually turn the flame off, or your electric element or whatever you're using. So, alright, 15 minutes, we'll be back. Alright guys, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this sanitizer, some of it, and we're going to open up the fermenter. We're going to put some in this bowl. And this is going to be for like sanitizing our yeast pack, and also putting our airlock in there and letting it sit in sanitizer. So about that much, it should be good. Is that right? Yeah, that's plenty. Now we're gonna come over and take take our sanitizer and just kind of dip it around in there. We're going to sanitize that yeast pack. This is all part of the prep. And I got my sink ready to go, so I can put some cold water in here and start cooling the wort down once it's ready to go. So we'll get back to this in a minute. Alright guys, we are at the end of our voyage here with our stovetop brew. An hour and a half later, we're going to throw in our last addition. We're going to kill the flame. This is the flame out edition because we're killing the flame. Go ahead and throw them in there and let them sit. And kind of develop some flavor. Now what I can do is go ahead, while these are sitting there, just go ahead and move this pot over to my water bath to cool this down, and we'll get over to the water bath here in a second so I can show you how we chill this thing. Alright, this is a water bath, basically just a tub of water to chill this down. So we're going to take the kettle, move it over, get this thing cooled down. It's really, really hot, so we'll probably hear a little sizzling or whatever when we go to put it in the water here. Maybe not. And my kettle wants to float. That's so funny. I'm gonna add a little more water to the kettle bath here. And what we're doing here, I'm not gonna sit here the whole time going through this, but what we're doing here is we're just sitting the kettle in where the water's cooler on the outside. I'm gonna circulate the wort with a spoon and transfer all the heat from the wort to the water, and then we'll drain the water and do it again. But we'll put ice the second round. I'll put ice in the water, and that'll help chill it down quicker. That way we can put this in the fermenter and pitch the yeast. So just as an example, go ahead and pop the lid here. Look at that. That is incredibly hot. So what we can do is kind of just start stirring this around a little bit. Let it make contact with the sides of the pot to transfer that heat to the water. It's still about 144 degrees right now. So we'll continue to circulate this around and cool it down. Alright, so I'll do a nice bath second round. I'm not going to bore you with this part. Get this chilled down to wort pitching temp. We'll get this in the fermenter at that point and pitch our yeast. Alright guys, I want y'all to take a look at this. I have gotten the wort cooled down enough, and look how bubbly that stuff is. That means it is super well oxygenated. Is what we want, is for this to be really oxygenated with plenty of air in there, because that's what the yeasts are going to depend on, along with the actual sugars from the wort in order to ferment. So this looks really good. Thinking there's probably about a gallon in here. We'll see. If not, we'll have to top it up a little bit with some water. When we're doing these extract brews, you don't really have to worry about the dilution so much, because when you're boiling, all you're really doing is losing water anyways. So we're just going to top it back up to the intended volume that it should be, which in this case, for this fermenter, we want to fill it up to the 1 1/4? Yeah, we want to fill it up to the 1 1/4 mark for this. So I'm going to take this star sand and dump it out real quick. All right, got some star sand still in there. Not a big deal. It's perfectly food grade. As they say, do not fear the foam. That is actually a saying. Don't fear the foam. Because anytime you sanitize your fermenters with star sand especially, you tend to have some foam left over. So we're going to try and pour this in. Cautiously, of course. Slowly. We'll see what we get up to volume-wise on this. There will be tons of hop debris and other stuff in here just from the boil that will settle at the bottom of the fermenter. And it looks like I'm short a bit here. All I got is foam left in there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna top this up with water. We're gonna top it up to the 1 1/4 gallon mark. Well, hello, how you doing? So we're at the end of this video. If you made it this far, congratulations. This is probably one of the longest ones I've put out in quite some time, but hey, I appreciate you sticking around. Or maybe you fast forward and just got to this point right away, right? I know how this game is played. So anyways, we're gonna dig out this beer real quick and take a look at it. Let's do that right now and then we'll talk about some things. Get it out of the fridge here. There she is, all bottled up, ready to go. Let's get it into a glass. Go ahead and pop the little hiss there. Oh man, smell it, smell it. You know you want to smell it. That smells killer. Man, hops on the nose big time. Let's go ahead and put her in a glass and see how she did. Got a nice golden color there. Of course we knew that. I got rinse aid on these glasses, so I'll have to try hard to get it even a 1 finger head on this because well, I may not be very successful at this. So I'm trying to keep the dregs to the bottom of the bottle. So that last little bit, you don't want to pour that in your bottle. It's got yeast in it. When you bottle condition, you're always going to have a little bit of yeast sitting at the bottom of the bottle. You can drink it if you want. Might make you a little gassy, just saying. But there it is. Yeah, not much of a head on it. Oh man. Man, it smells very citrus. Just on the nose, man. It smells incredible. Cheers. Let's give this a whirl. Oh wow, this tastes like this tastes like something off the West Coast, to be honest with you. This tastes very similar to like Sierra Nevada a little bit, if I can recall. This tastes very like Sierra Nevada Pale, and I don't remember what hops are in Sierra Nevada, but this tastes, it just has that bitterness similar to it. And then that citrus flavor on the back end there. That is fantastic. The carbonation is on point too. It's not over carbonated, it's not under. It's like right there where it tickles the tongue. It's fantastic. Man, Kyle, it's a great recipe, man. It wasn't even complicated. Some base malt, some crystal malt. Well, it was crystal malt. And then citra hops. That was it. That was it. Pretty fantastic. Sometimes it don't take much to make a great beer, man. So anyways, let's go into this. When it came time to bottle, I took the fermenter and I set it up on top of the bottle box. The box that had the bottles in it, I just set the fermenter on top of that. And that way I had higher height. So when I was bottling on a counter, I already had like a difference in height between the bottles and the fermenter. And then I ended up not using this piece here. Let me dig it out of the fermenter. I did clean the fermenter, as you can see, nice and ready to go for another batch of beer. Experimental or just a small batch. whatever I desire, I guess, really. But the bottling kit that's sold separate comes with the bottle capper, the caps, the bottles, carbonation tablets. All those things are provided with the bottling kit, and this little wand and the tubing. Well, this guy right here is designed where it sits down. There's a little seal right here. You can see there's a little seal, and it sits inside this guy. And then when you push the bottling cane down inside of it, it creates pressure so this guy stays sealed. And so when you're filling your bottles, you push down and it lets the fluid out. And then when you let off, it stops the fluid. Well, this one leaks. I didn't tell Kyle about it. I probably could have and should have, but not a big deal. I was still able to do a workaround by just controlling the flow of the beer coming out of the fermenter with the valve itself. Hey, it worked really well. Also, I used 3 carbonating tablets for the bottle. Each bottle, I've put 3 carbonating tablets in it, and then I filled the bottle up to the top. So when I take the wand out, the beer would settle out with a little bit of some head space in there. And I don't know if that really matters. I mean, you could technically fill them all the way to the top. I think it's a good idea to leave a little headspace in there for expansion of the CO2 and everything in there as the yeast continues to ferment the carbonating drops. The carbonation drops are basically little sugar drops, and when you put them in there, the yeast, the little bit of yeast that's still alive in the beer, go to town and eat on that sugar and create CO2, and then the CO2 has nowhere to go, so it essentially just stays in there and carbonates the bottle. And so you end up with bottle conditioned beer, and it comes out carbonated. All you do is you put the bottles in the fridge for a day or two, let all the yeast in the beer just kind of fall out and settle at the bottom of the bottle. Hence why I didn't drink that last bit. I could, but I didn't want to. Hefeweizens, actually, they tell you to do that. And Hefeweizens, when you buy them in the store, a lot of times they'll have yeast at the bottom of those bottles. And what they tell you to do is, like, when you're pouring it, is swirl it and pour the remainder into your glass. It's kind of part of that beer style. But there it is, and it's all its glory. But it came out really good, man. All around great beer kit. And the 1 gallon kit was actually pretty cool. You want to make just a 12 pack of beer, 1 gallon beer. That's all you got to do. Just 1 gallon kit. Clawhammer sells that kit for 99 bucks on their site. Comes with the beer kit, the fermenter, and the stopper bung and the 3-piece airlock. And all you got to do if you want to add to it is you just need to get a kettle of sorts, 3 gallon kettle, so you don't have boilovers. You're boiling like a 1 gallon batch of beer, so you need some space for accounting for boilovers and such. The bottling kit, definitely get you a bottling kit. It's not too terribly expensive. I'll put the link down below to all this stuff so you guys can check it out. The bottling kit comes with the bottles, comes with the capper, comes with the caps, comes with the carbonation drops. And you're pretty much ready to rock and roll. And that's everything you need. That's everything you need. The racking cane and the tubing and all, it all comes together in that bottling kit. And that's all you really need to bottle the beer. The kit alone, like I said, comes with the fermenter and the beer kit, recipe, I should say, and everything you need to do that part. So, and ferment the beer. But anyways, it tastes fantastic. And Kyle, I really appreciate you sending that to me. That's a banging beer, man. It's a very good summery. It can be a fall beer, to be quite honest with you, but it's more summer-esque, spring lawnmower. Drink one of those, relax in the sun or the shade. But I'd say it's good. I have 11 more of them. So I will probably scale that up, to be honest with you, just because I haven't made a pale ale quite like that in quite some time. So guys, thank you for hanging out. If you haven't, like and subscribe. Go check out their site and look at all their little gadgets. They got distilling stuff on there. They got brewing stuff on there. They got stovetop brew systems, which I've demoed in the past. And they got the full electric blown out system you can do in your kitchen, or if you got a 240, you can go all 240 and hook into a intense dryer outlet, if you will, to do some hardcore boils. But they do make a 110 system for you to brew right in your kitchen if you want, or anywhere you got a 120. So cheers, and I'll see you next time, guys. Thanks for watching.